next guest is David Scott. Dave's a park ranger for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers at West Point Lake. Dave's going to tell us a little bit about the shoreline management plan and some recent changes that's happened. Dave, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, Rocky.
No problem. Now, Dave, like I said before, there's been a lot of changes to the shoreline management plan, specifically sizes of boat docks. Could you elaborate on this a little bit for us?
Certainly. In the past, our shoreline management plan allowed for a platform dock to be 260 square foot and what we call a boat shelter, which was a covered dock with a slip, to be 720 square foot. With the new changes that have been put into place, and they're in place now, you can have a platform dock as large as 330 square feet. And we changed the boat shelter to what we call a slip dock, which is a dock with boat slips. It doesn't have to be covered anymore. Most people do decide to cover them, but those docks now, the footprint or the exterior perimeter of that dock, the dimensions can add up to be 1,024 square foot. So, you know, we're looking at a little over a 300 square foot jump in our platform. I mean, I'm sorry, in our slip dock size increase. You know, the reason we've done that is to it allows for two 10 by 24 foot slips, and it also allows for the 4 foot mandatory. We have to have a 4 foot walkway between those slips and around, and then it also allows for people to have 2 PWC lifts if they decide to on the outside of it. So that's
okay, great. So there's room for the fishing boat as well as the recreational boat, your 2 jet skis.
That's right.
Basically makes the whole family happy,
Certainly.
which is great. Which is great.
Certainly.
And well, Dave, what exactly led to these changes?
Well, I tell you, Rocky, in the past few years, we've got a lot of requests for people, from people who wanted to add 2 slips in their docks.
Right.
Because more people have 2 boats, a pontoon boat and a bass boat, perhaps. And unfortunately, under our old regulations, we couldn't allow those 2 slips to fit 2 boats and still maintain the safe walkway between them. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the West Point Lake Coalition come to us with a proposal to increase our size to kind of put us in line with local lakes, you know, up and down the Chattahoochee, and also to expand recreational possibilities. So, you know, that got pushed through our Mobile District Office, and approval happened, you know, literally about 2 weeks ago. And now that that's approved, you know, now we can allow those larger docks on the lake.
That's great. And I guess, has there been some really strong public support? I know this is now in effect. Have you really heard much from the public?
We've started getting some inquiries about increasing, adding 2 docks that are already existing. And of course, for the last few months, while this has been, you know, going through the motions of getting approved, we've had a lot of people that are installing new docks that have been asking about the new size increase, you know, because when they build that dock, they want to go ahead and do the maximum if they're allowed to. So we've had some, you know, we've had a lot of interest. A lot of the boat dock builders out here, you know, they've been really interested because it expands their offerings, you know, to the public. So it's been, not heard anything negative from anybody about it. It's been well accepted.
Right, right. And you know, I'm sure there are going to be several people that already are boat dock owners that they're going to find out about these changes, and you know, they're of course going to want to make these changes. What's the exact process that these people should go through to have these changes made and stay within regulations?
Certainly. The first thing that needs to happen, of course, is they need to contact our office.
Okay.
You know, a shoreline ranger such as myself. There's 4 of us working in the shoreline department at our office. You know, set up an appointment with us. Let's come out, let's look, because these docks, although we went up on our size that we allow, we're still required by what's called a 50-foot rule. We have to have a minimum of 50-foot spacing from that dock to any other dock that may be near it, you know. Okay. You know, in some cases around the lake, people are going to be limited by that 50-foot rule because they're already kind of as close as they could be. So they're not going to be able to expand their dock. But in most cases, you know, we're going to be able to allow that. So, you know, contact us first. We'll come out. One thing that's important for me to mention is it doesn't cost anything on our side to increase your dock size. certain things, if you decide to change kind of in the middle of your permit, we have to go through, and there are certain charges that go with it. Increasing your dock or changing your dock is not something that we charge for. So if you know, contact our office, we get it set up. If everything is okay as far as spacing is concerned, you know, we're going to create a new dock plan and approve, you know, what you've got in mind, and move forward, and you can do the work and have it, or have the work done. So
sure. And like you said, the first thing to do is to contact a shoreline management ranger. And that's true really with anything that's permitted for adjacent landowners on lake property. Right. You know, what else is available to these adjacent landowners through the shoreline management plan?
The shoreline management plan, we allow several different things to be permitted. Of course, the dock permit is one. You know, whether it be a slip dock or a platform dock. We allow underbrushing, which is one of our most common activities that we find on the lake, is the underbrushing. Of course, with it being the most common activity, it's also the most common violation we find, is where people fail to keep to our regulations on underbrushing. So anytime you're looking to do that kind of work, you know, give us a call, we'll come out, we'll meet. We want to make sure that the work you want to do is you're not going to get in trouble by doing it. You know, if we can stop it ahead of time, then everybody's better off, rather than wait until it's too late. The other things you can get under permit are electrical lines, water lines. You can have water withdrawal lines, such as a water pump that withdraws water to irrigate a garden, or you know, sprinkler system for your lawn. We allow telephone and intercom lines back and forth. So there's a good many things that are allowed under the shoreline management plan.
Yeah, and as a park ranger, you know, I'm constantly hearing from people how beautiful the lake is, especially the view from the water, you know, and that's why we try to keep on top of people. You know, we don't want people to just go and cut every tree, you know, or, you know, we're park rangers for reasons, you know, and we enjoy the natural beauty of it, and really a lot of people don't enjoy the just to cut down every tree. And of course, as a natural resource specialist too, these trees, they have other benefits besides just pretty to look at, you know, wildlife habitat, that sort of thing, of course. So, Dave, you know, what is the steps that people need to, I mean, how can people get a hold of a ranger to come out to their house to visit, to find out about these changes, that sort of thing?
Sure. It's really easy. Just call our office. You know, our office down in West Point. Our phone number is 706-645-2937. You can call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, and when you call, specifically ask for a shoreline ranger. And like I said, there's 3 or 4 of us. Generally, one of us is in the office, hopefully. If not, leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But just give us a call. We'll set up an on-site meeting. That's what we get paid to do. You know, we do work some weekends, so if it's not possible for someone to be able to come out during the middle of the week, you know, maybe we can set up a meeting on the weekend that's convenient for the landowner. So
and on top of not being any charge for any changes, there's no charge for a ranger to come out and visit.
Not
you
at
know,
all.
Like you said, that's our job. We're to make sure that everybody's following regulations, and these regulations are important. They're there for a reason. They're there for a reason, exactly.
We feel like the adjacent landowner, they are our neighbors.
Correct.
You know, and we want to be good neighbors to them, and we'd like to get to know our neighbors, and we're always glad to meet them out here on site. Right.
And really, I've mentioned this before, but what's good for the lake is good for the entire community, not just adjacent landowners. So if more people are coming in to recreate, to boat and such as that, it's a benefit to everyone. Everyone. And generally, these boat slips, they're designed for, I mean, is there a size limit you said on the slips? I mean,
there's not
on the
necessarily
type of boats that can fit?
There's not necessarily a size limit on the slip. The new dock size standard allows for 2 10 by 24 foot slips.
Okay.
Which usually a 10 by 24 foot slip will encompass most boats that you find out here on West Point Lake. You know, a large pontoon boat will fit in that. Most bass boats or cabin cruisers, most of those boats will fit into that slip size. So it was, you know, the reason for adding that is just because a lot of people nowadays have 2 boats.
Right, right. And with these bigger docks, I know before there was a regulation on the length. I believe it was 100 foot or a third of the length of the cove.
That's right.
Does that still stand?
That still stands. And even though we've increased the dock size, you're still limited to that 100-foot length.
Okay.
You know, the dock size does not include the walkway square footage. However, when you're talking about length, you're talking about the total length, walkway, dock, and anything you might have off the end of the dock, like a PWC lift.
Okay.
Anything out to the end has to be confined to 100 foot, or like you said, 1/3 the width of a cove if you happen to be in the back of a small cove.
Okay, okay. So I think, you know, the real things to take from this is there are increases available. You know, people that have docks before, they are going to be able to increase the size. And new builders as well, they've got whole new opportunities.
That's right.
But the thing that we want to stress is the first thing to do is to contact a shoreline management ranger. Dave, thank you so much for coming. You know, there's a lot of information up here, and of course we recommend that anybody, if they have any questions, to get a hold of you.
That's
and I'm
right.
sure you'll be glad to help them out at all.
Give us a call anytime.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, like I said again, thanks so much for coming here, and we'll see you next time.
All right, so thank you, Ron.